Hey everyone. Some of you might have just bought the new Modern Warfare 3, and if you did, I am extremely sorry because I've just seen how awful it's been received. Especially if you bought it for the campaign, because that seems to be the part of the game that's worst. Thankfully, I haven't bought it, and I don't think I will, because nothing from this game seems exciting. The other two parts of this game, multiplayer and zombies, seems to be pretty bad as well, with the multiplayer being the exact same as the two previous games. But despite that, it seems to take up half of the game size, and although it wasn't shown in the video, the zombies mode looks pretty bad as well, with it looking like zero fun. But at this point, there's so much shit in this game, it makes more sense to just react to all of it. My fingers hurt so much. Okay, so it's gonna be a bit of a comeback, because I remember one of the videos I did earlier was like the upcoming release of Modern Warfare 3, and people were saying that's not good, or it won't be good, and now, yeah, I mean, it wasn't good. I'm sure we've all seen like how it's been received, like on Twitter and everywhere else. It's people don't like it. I want to watch a video, give me more like an in-depth like review on why people hate so much and why I keep on seeing so frequently people saying like it's just DLC, which it probably is. But I want to see like what are the reasons they have as well as hating it.
3 is in early access right now, and well, the launch of the game is not going down super hot. The reception has been kind of meager, and people are hoping that the annualized release model for Call of Duty comes to an end because it's becoming clear that the developers just can't keep up. Now, before the game's launch, we saw kind of little things that kind of bothered people. Like Jez here pointed out how at one point when you booted up your Xbox, you'd get this ad for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. And look, it's not the end
that
of the world.
That is not good.
Hit exit or whatever. But
I mean, your own console you paid for have ads.
I don't want this to become the norm. Jess here highlighted worries that if this is the precedent that we allow to be set today, then tomorrow we might be looking at Starbucks ads or something along those lines. Xbox did this for Starfield and other games as well. Doesn't mean this is any less annoying. So
yeah, it's not good.
Kind of popping up. It was not something that was particularly well received. Tom Warren here from The Verge also highlighted how Microsoft has started showing a full screen pop up for Call of Duty Modern.
I hate how the free options are exit, of course, but then buy now and buy the Ultimate Edition. That is so scummy.
I want game ads when I boot up my Xbox, which I personally would agree with. Like, it's not really my kind of thing. And plenty of people have highlighted this. Here is a Reddit thread. Xbox ads, full screen ad for Call of Duty on startup that has garnered over 13.
I'm guessing the most you could keep up this ad whenever you turn on your console was maybe a week. Because why would you want to see an ad for the game after a week? So it's already like it lost the hype.
There was this issue that people encountered where when they booted up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the campaign for some reason asked you to insert the PS4 disc of Modern Warfare.
Even the fucking game knows that's just a ripoff of Modern Warfare 2.
Wind of this and tweeted, "We're investigating an issue causing some players to encounter a disc required error. Stand by for updates." And then it wasn't long after where an update has gone live to address an issue causing some players to encounter a disc required error. But a lot of people seem to believe that this is kind of a good metaphor for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 because it doesn't feel like a huge leap forward from Modern Warfare 2. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, this is what that error message looks like for those who are curious. Plenty of people are like, what the hell? How is this a bug? Now, this stuff wouldn't be nearly as prominently highlighted if the game itself was just a banger and people were happy with it.
Are they?
It's been seeing some rough PR. So here's Simon Party from IGN, who, before the embargo lifted for Modern Warfare 3, hinted at rough tidings for the campaign experience, tweeting out, "My full review on Modern Warfare 3's campaign will be live tomorrow, but all I have to say for now is woof." And then the embargo would lift on November 3rd, 2023, which is today. And IGN gave the campaign experience a 4 out of 10.
Shit.
The full review is right here.
That's mind-blowing. For years, Call of Duty has always been like the pampered golden child because Activision's basically like paid off IGN to always give the best score possible. But I don't know what's going on this year. I'm surprised they didn't pay them off like every other time. I'm guessing they were just like so tired of it that IGN knew that if they were to give it a 10 out of 10, I mean they could have, there was only not true if they got money for it. But I'm guessing if they did give it like a 10 out of 10, people would be like, that is such bullshit. That is so clearly like you being bribed to give it a good score. But they could reason say like it was perfect just by saying like if you like Modern Warfare 2 from last year, you're gonna love this one. It's just like an easy reason to give it like a 10 out of 10, but it didn't, which is pretty big because this is like, I know people joke on IGN being like a joke of like game reviewers, but it's always been seen as a good base for how like it's being like how much money is being pumped into the game. Because if they're willing to like pay for it for people to say it's 10 out of 10, then of course they want you to like get as much out as possible. But yeah, but I'm guessing in this time they just gave up. Cause I mean later on he's gonna talk about like how everything is recycled. So I'm guessing this one might just be the one with like the least amount of effort put into it. Not to mention the reused maps they use from every other game. So it's not looking good already.
This campaign commits the biggest sin possible for a globe-trotting action thriller. It's boring. What had the promise to be an intriguingly spun web of mystery instead ends up being a dusty cobweb you'd find at the back of your shed, clinging onto 15-year-old garden toys you once had fun with. It's a pale imitation of the past, made up of underbaked story moments that clash with attempts to introduce new open combat missions designed to encourage player freedom that instead fall flat on their face. Yes, the gunplay is still great and the graphics and sound design are top tier, but I couldn't help but feel I was playing a shinier, less subtle version of something I've played too many times before. If this is the quality we've come to expect from Call of Duty campaigns, maybe it's for the best if a year or two is taken to reset and raise this low bar back to the heights of old. 4 out of 10.
That's a pretty bad sign because no one normally gives a shit about the campaign, but the fact like this was the first one I've seen like a huge hype behind it from the fans, that means like I mean it was clear why, because they didn't give a shit about multiplayer, and the only hope they could have left is the campaign, because that's the one part they can't really recycle. I mean, unfortunately they did, as I just mentioned, but you do have to make a new story for it, make some new levels, and at least like carry on the one from the previous game. So they have to somewhat try, but unfortunately they didn't, from what I saw in the review.
Cobbled together from multiplayer parts, Modern Warfare 3 single-player campaign is everything a Call of Duty story mode shouldn't be. Yikes, pretty harsh words, but likely valid, and based on the discussions that I've been seeing online from people who do have early access to the campaign, a lot of people have been saying the same thing. A lot of people have been expressing disappointment at this campaign experience, and this probably in large part has to do with the fact that this is an annualized cycle and developers only have so much time to make these campaigns and to, cobble together a new game for a very strict deadline. And the end result is that the quality is going to degrade, especially as the bar for, what people are expecting out of a new Call of Duty, is raised, and as technology makes development just more complicated. And so this right here, I feel, is in large part the annualized release model catching up to Call of Duty. And in the case of Modern Warfare 3, it caught up in a really rough way. There's some people who are highlighting that the trailer for Modern Warfare 3, the marketing surrounding Modern Warfare 3, made the campaign seem a lot more epic, like there'd be more stakes involved and whatnot. But when you actually play the campaign, it's just a snooze fest, bar a few moments here and there where things ramp up. And then what adds insult
I want to see how he
injury
mentioned the No Russian mission, because I saw a lot of people mention how it's way worse than the one from the older game.
Campaigns have never been long. They're usually like 6 to 8 hours along those lines. In the case of Modern Warfare 3, a lot of people...
Holy shit. 4 hours, oh my god. I cannot imagine having to buy the game only hoping for campaign, and it's only 4 hours long. That's a rip-off of your money.
4 hours, at least if those 4 hours would have been, freaking epic with incredible set pieces and been, bar-raising stuff, then that'd be one thing. But we're talking 4 boring hours, 4 low-quality hours, especially compared to past Call of Duty games. And so not only are we getting a lower quality campaign, we're getting a much shorter campaign than before. So this is about as bad as it could get. And yeah, there are plenty of people who do look forward to Call of Duty campaigns. And so this really sucks for those folks. And for this lower quality, more bare bones, and shorter campaign, we're shelling out the full price of $70 for an experience.
Wait, is that a base edition? $70? Holy shit.
Or as, bar raising as it should be, every new game should strive to kind of elevate from what came before. But demanding full price for this experience, a lot of people just don't feel like the price point is justified. And then making
I get what he means by elevate, but I'm guessing they've gone to this point where if they do try to make it better than the last, it will be nearly impossible. Not because of like how big the quality is, but because of like how much stuff they added, that it would just be impossible to keep on adding more stuff. I mean, right now, I'm guessing he's about to talk about like the file size of the game, and 213 gigabytes. To be honest, Call of Duty has always been known for how huge the game is in terms of file size, so I'm not surprised by this. But I always feel like the compressing down the game to a much better size has always been the part they've kept to last, to neglect, because I mean, within 1 year you have to try to make sure you include everything you can possibly in terms of like marketing as well, so you don't really have time to like tweak down the smaller stuff that makes it easier for most people who buy the game. And to be honest, I think at this point, over 200 gigabytes, that's the point where like the average customer doesn't want to spend their time to delete games from the console and install this one, because already people say like it's not offering much new, so what's the point of like deleting games you actually like to play this one you probably already played before if you played like the Modern Warfare 2 or the first one 2019.
What's worse is that the full installation size of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is a whopping 213 gigabytes. I mean, remember when this was 150 gigabytes and people were like, what the hell? Now we're up to
150 sounds like a dream. Oh my god.
I don't know how this is acceptable. That is 1/10 of a 2 terabyte drive, more than a tenth of a 2 terabyte SSD. And for people who like to have a lot of games installed on their system or on their PC, which is plenty of people, this is less.
For me, that's a nightmare because my PC is 500 gigabytes. So the idea of my PC being half of Modern Warfare 3, fuck that.
So much more just epic in scope and are significantly smaller. A lot of people are scratching their heads as to why this is the case and how they couldn't just compress the storage size further. Now, it is worth noting that there is a minimum installation size of 79 gigabytes if you don't install the high-res assets, but that means you're getting a lower visual experience. The 79 gigabytes is for the multiplayer experience. If you add the single-player campaign,
just multiplayer 79
high-res assets, that's 149 gigabytes, still ridiculous. And then if you add the high-res,
that makes no sense. How is the base multiplayer half of what it is plus high-res assets? That's just mind-blowing. This is the problem with most like modern games and AAA games as well. Is the bar of quality for like graphics is so high that it actually ruins the game in terms of like how much you have to sacrifice just to play it.
You clock in at 213 gigabytes. So at the very least, there are pieces you can add or remove to your liking. But still, I mean, this is insane.
Actually, I want you to watch a video of like the comparison with like normal with high res. I mean, it has to be pretty good to be nearly 80 gigabytes.
So huge, tweeting out the following on November 2nd, 2023. We'd like to provide an update on file sizes, which are larger than last year. This is due to the increased amount of content available day one, including open world zombies, support for item carry forward from Modern Warfare 2, as well as map files for current Call of Duty Warzone. That still doesn't feel like a justified explanation for this when other games, far larger in scope and scale, managed to make far more reasonable storage size requirements. Now, look, I'm no developer, so I'm not here to declare what is and isn't possible, but surely there is a way to not make Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 over 200 gigabytes in storage size requirement, given the content that it offers. Surely, under more considerate hands, this game could be significantly smaller in size.
Yeah. If it wasn't rushed to be out in a year, definitely.
Modern Warfare 3 has been experiencing during this early access period, and all of the criticisms surrounding it, the fact that the campaign is 3 to 4 hours instead of the usual 5 to 7, 8 hours, seems to be trending negative for the quality, not just the length. That's important to note. It's not just about the fact that it's short, it's that the quality of those hours just does not live up to what came before, to some of the more renowned campaigns from series past. The launch of Modern Warfare 3, even outside of this, has been thorny. One of the things that's highlighted here is that Modern Warfare 3 doesn't even have a platinum trophy for the game, as it's actually categorized as DLC for Modern Warfare 2, which is probably...
Oh my god, yeah, that's right. I think on the PlayStation Store, it is considered DLC. So, Jesus Christ. A lot of
rehashed stuff from Modern Warfare 2. And like they didn't really justify the 3. It feels more like a Modern Warfare 2.5. And
probably less than 2.5, like 2.2 or 3 at most.
Proper sequel. again, annualized release model is just not working out right now. It is becoming a detriment to the IP. But the thing is, it's probably going to sell millions and millions, and as long as that continues to happen, as long as Activision can get away with this, they'll continue with this model, because why would they change something that's financially working out for them, you know? There was some talk about slowing down the Call of Duty release cycle.
Yeah, but every franchise has a point where it can't keep on repeating the same shit that made them so much money. At one point, something will come up that will make fans go like, I'm not gonna buy this one. Maybe I'll get the one next year, but I won't get this one today. And this might just be the one in the series, because I've never seen like such a push to call like one sequel DLC for the previous game. And there's nothing worse than having like your customer prefer to buy the game from last year as opposed to one that just came out, because that is just money that you've lost when you've spent so much on making the game and on marketing, and people don't see the point in buying it because they don't see that much new. And the fact that the campaign was seen as like so poor quality was pretty bad, considering the fact like it was one of the most hyped parts of the game. I mean, no one really gave a shit about multiplayer, clearly. I don't think Zombies ever had like a good start for this game, because it was made like, it was ripped off from the Black Ops series and forced into this one. I'm pretty sure they just reused most of the stuff from Cold War and put it in, because I don't think Treyarch's making any more Call of Duty games. Therefore, they abandoned them, but they still stole their favorite part, like the fans' favorite part from that developing team, and put in this one, just to keep some of the fans still engaged into the series. But it just felt like a very cheap way to do so. And honestly, even though there are some fans that are like actually gonna grow up and be like, I'm not gonna buy this one, there are still some that are just blind to it, and they have enough money to buy the new one, so they might as well. But I think if you took like just 1 year off, that would build so much hype for like children that they would see as like the next game to come out as being like way better, just because of like the fact that it took an extra year to make, therefore the quality is even better. It doesn't have to be, but that placebo effect makes people want to buy it even more. So I think it would be better if they just gave up on this model and just relied more on taking more time. Even 2 years would be enough to make people believe that it's going to be way better than previous ones.
One can dream, right? One can dream, but there's just too much money to be made out of the annualized release cycle of Call of Duty, and so I don't foresee this stopping anytime soon, unless, you know, Call of Duty releases in such a poor state that sales and engagement just tanks to a point where Activision reconsiders their strategy. But for that to happen, it have to be quite the big decline. Now, it is important to highlight that we are in a new era for Activision Blizzard, where they've been acquired by Microsoft, and it was during this acquisition that there were talks about slowing down the Call of Duty release cycle. So if Phil Spencer and crew can step in and be like, hey, we care about our first-party releases now. We want these not only to release at a high cadence, but at a high quality, and can mandate that the developers take more time with Call of Duty and end this annualized release cycle, then maybe there's hope. Maybe Uncle Phil can give us some hope for Call of Duty and for its improvement when it comes to quality. But that's just one of those things where there's no guarantee. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but if that's how Xbox decides to approach Call of Duty moving forward, that would be most welcome, and I think a lot of people would be really happy and optimistic about such a move. Now, I guess one positive aspect to Modern Warfare 3 that people have been talking about is the fact that they removed weapon tuning, which was an aspect that many felt was detrimental to the competitive scene.
Did I mean the gunsmith?
Why does everyone hate weapon tuning so much? I'm indifferent to it, just curious. And then here's a response that kind of explains it. It made players who didn't play often or wanted a simple experience feel like they needed a PhD just to build a competitive weapon. So it became less about...
So that was the biggest part people loved about the Modern Warfare series. It's the gunsmith. It might not be the gunsmith, it might be something else.
Getting good at the game. Which, I mean, it involved both, but the intellectual aspect definitely took more of a limelight. And so I think without the weapon tuning aspect, it can just be about how good you are at the game and the weapons that you favor and stuff like that, which is what you want this kind of experience to be. So there's that, but in general, it doesn't sound like Modern Warfare 3 is going to garner much positive fanfare based on, you know, these early days of the game's early access release. The campaign is certainly not being praised by just... I've not read any praises for it. The majority of people who've been talking about the campaign experience are just expressing how disappointed they are, and just about everyone is in agreement that this annualized release model has to end. This is not where the quality bar should be. And so that's kind of where things are at with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I'll see how things fare for this game commercially and critically as the days go on and as the late release date approaches. Early access is the release date. You just have to pay more to get it on launch day, and then everyone else gets it later. So that's when we'll probably start seeing more critics and also just user reviews. And I don't know.
Right now is a good time to see how good it is, how bad it is. I mean, there's no point in hoping for later content to fix it.
That's that Call of Duty just not having a great day, a great week,
a great year. It's not going to sell well after this, after the week they came out.
But alas, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are.
Yeah, that's in a video. Yeah, I really doubt. I'm trying to think of one Call of Duty game that had a rough beginning, maybe Cold War, but even then that was more like the minor parts that they could easily fix. But if everyone has like a general consensus that it's the same as the last year's game, then there's no way you can actually fix that unless by making a new game. But this one's already out, so you can't really do that. And I really doubt they're gonna add much new content that's gonna be so incredible that people are gonna want to play it again. Because honestly, after the first week, which is this one right now when it came out, if the base content isn't that good, the little small stuff they could add in DLC, or not DLC, like a new next update, it won't be enough to keep people's attention drawn. Plus, if the gameplay, I haven't seen anything about the gameplay, but if the gameplay's not good, then there's just no hope left, because people won't find the game fun, so there's no point in waiting like 2 months into like a new update to get a new gun that will probably just be broken or really shitty. So all the time you've wasted in waiting for like the new update, which would be a waste of time. If there's one defense I could give on maybe why they actually making new Call of Duty games, is maybe because of Warzone. Because every time they make a new Call of Duty game, they implement the system from that one to the Warzone in order to like gently introduce people to the new game, so it's not like super jarring when you first start playing it. And plus, you kind of have to add new stuff to Warzone, because that's probably the only thing keeping Call of Duty alive right now. Because I'm pretty sure it's still pretty big right now with a pretty huge fan base, so you have to keep adding new stuff. But at the same time, it's probably seeing a lot of developers that could be working on the new game as opposed to staying on Warzone, constantly adding new shit. And even though people do love Warzone, I don't blame them. I think it would be better if they just focused less time on it, so the new Call of Duty game could be way better and actually like take place of Warzone in terms of like people playing that instead. Because at some point it's better to make a new game as opposed to like always relying on Warzone staying alive forever, which it won't. There will be a point in that game's future where like it has like a huge drop in like player base, and that's where you need like a new game to take place off it, so the series still stays alive. Because even though people have always joked about Call of Duty being over like being like a beaten horse, it's still pretty big right now. And honestly, even though it is, I think this is the first point in time where people are actually like getting really tired of it. People got sick of the previous games, but this is the first one where like everyone just fucking hates it. So the only hope right now is that Microsoft decides to like wait more than 1 year to make the next one, which will probably turn out even better. And even if it doesn't turn out better, as long as people have like that idea of like, oh, it took longer than 1 year, that means that's good. It will at least get more like traction behind it, which that's all the game really needs, you know. But we're just gonna have to see. I'm not sure when Call of Duty games get announced, but probably around like during summer. So we'll have to see next year summer to see like if there's gonna be a new one made, or if you're gonna take more time to at least develop it more, which would be the best option at this point, to be honest.
Know that I'm a bun watcher. Bun watcher. Let me see what you got. Bun watcher.